Bella Salon and Day Spa, located at 41 West Main Street in Northeast Pennsylvania, proudly supports Chautauqua Sunrise and its volunteers. More information at bellasalonanddayspa.net. Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise. I probably should rename it today, called Chautauqua Surprise. I don't know about you, but when we went to bed last night, it was 40 degrees and windy. And this morning, it was like Antarctica. I don't even know what to compare it to. So listen, first of all, if anybody's listening right now live, please, unless you have to go out, don't drive. I know that they've got some winter driving warnings up. The weather really is as bad as they say it is. I just came in from Northeast Pennsylvania via Ripley, Westfield. The lakeshore is really pretty rough, especially from Ripley to Northeast. Westfield wasn't too bad, but by the time you get back up here on the knob in Mayville, it's getting pretty wintry again. The plow guys, God bless you, you're doing a pretty good job out there as always, and I say pretty good because they haven't got a chance to get to the secondary roads, but the main roads are open, but the wind is blowing. It's pretty tricky to see, so please, unless you have to get out, stay home, relax, watch the rest of the show. We got a great show in store for you. Okay, so take care, and I know I harp on this because we do have one of our members of this staff that I won't mention by name, will I, Justin? Not you, but someone very close to you who likes to just jump in the car and go without cleaning off the entire windshield. So please make sure you do that and make sure you got your good tires. I saw about 5 cars already in the ditch on the way here, and I have a feeling it could have been because they didn't have snow tires or all season tires. All right, enough on that. Okay, I want to say good morning to everyone that's watching right now, and good afternoon to my friends at WRFA 107.9. Low power to the people who are watching us, or not watching us, you can't watch a thing. You're listening to me on Tuesday at 1 o'clock. We're glad you could join us here. And hopefully when you hear this on Tuesday, the weather has improved. But it is November, and it is winter time practically, so we do what we got to do here in Chautauqua County. We're tough old people here. Okay, we got through the political cycle. That's over with. Now we're getting ready for the holidays, so that's always a fun time. And to one of those, mark your calendars, my good friends over at the Lakeshore Center for the Arts in Westfield Rick Mascaro and company. We're going to be doing, I think it's our fourth season, maybe it's third, I think it's fourth. We're going to be doing another edition or episode, whatever you want to call it. It's a Wonderful Life, and we're going to be performing this on December 14th and December 16th up there at the Presbyterian Church, I believe, in Westfield. I'll tell you more, but just mark your calendars. It's going to be an evening performance on the 14th of December and a matinee on the 16th. It's a Sunday. So we really encourage you to come out and do this, and you probably will want to mark it because it's a lot of fun. It's a great show. Okay, so I'm going to get into some announcements, and then we'll get to our regular show and my special guest today who braved the elements to get here. Okay, even though I just said don't go out, I'm still going to announce these things because hopefully most of these are in the evening or late afternoon and the weather gets better. But as I have been announcing right along, the Blue Star Mothers are having their special raffle today. And it's being held at the Lakewood Rod and Gun Club November 11th. That's today. No, wait. What is today? Is today the 11th? Today's the 10th. Oh, so it's all right for tomorrow then. Yeah. All right. I got a little ice between the ears. All right, Sunday, tomorrow. So they picked the right day. So November 11th, tomorrow, at the Lakewood Rod and Gun Club. I know I'm repeating myself, but I'm trying to get myself retooled here. They're giving away a grand prize of an eagle chainsaw carving, World War II autographed artwork, and a Webb's Captain's Table package. And that's going to be drawn tomorrow. Tickets are $5. They're red, and again, it's supporting the great cause that the Blue Star Mothers do every year for our troops everywhere. Okay, so let's get to our other announcements, and we're going to start out in my hometown of Ripley. So we got an annual fall shoot and gun raffle. I know it's a little hard to see, but maybe if you're watching TV, you can see it up closer. But it's going to be held tomorrow, not today. November 11th, and it's open to the general public. It's the Ripley Rod and Gun Club's gun raffle, and they have all kinds of prizes, and it's always a lot of fun. And I believe my wife actually won a shotgun one year and ended up to be a good Christmas present. Okay, continuing on. There's going to be a special Armistice Day Centennial event planned for tomorrow in Fredonia. I feel better. Most of these are tomorrow. The Chautauqua County Historical Society is sponsoring an event with historians from various towns and communities across the county to present a special event in Fredonia. As many know, November 11, 2018 serves as the 100th anniversary of Armistice Day, marking the end of World War I. In an effort to focus on the impact the war to end all wars had on the local home front, Michelle Henry, our good friend here, is often our guest, from the Chautauqua County History Department, and Historical Society trustee Todd Langworthy, who also is the Pomfret historian. They are coordinating a special centennial celebration of Armistice Day at the Fredonia Opera House. 1891 Fredonia Opera House. The event will feature local municipal historians sharing stories about World War I from the county's various communities. Whether it's a story of home front activities, a local soldier or nurse, or wartime production, this is a quote. Let me rephrase this. Until you read these for the first time sometimes, you don't know exactly how it's going to go. This is a quote from Michelle. Whether it is a story of home front activities, a local soldier or nurse, or wartime production, I'll bet each of our communities has an interesting story about that time period, according to Michelle. Okay, and participating historians are going to be Devin Taylor, Barb Cessna, Todd Langworthy, Sharon Howe, Mary Norcross, Pam Brown, Susan Raybergen, John Sippis. All those are town historians or village historians, and they're going to have a lot of cool things on display as well. It's going to be held from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock tomorrow at the Fredonia Opera House. It's free and open to the public, so check it out. Oh, it's that time again. Girl Scout Join-a-thon is going to be held this week on November 14th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. What this is This is going to be an opportunity for on-the-spot registration over the phone. And if there's a young lady in your world, your life, your daughter, your granddaughter, niece, check this out. By calling 888-837-6410, they can register right there for Girl Scouts. Keep in mind, Girl Scouts offers all-girl, girl-led leadership development experience for girls in the world where the specific needs can be met. The proof is in the results, as 80% of female tech leaders, 50% of female business owners, 90% of the female astronauts in the United States were all Girl Scouts. Girl Scout development develops a strong sense of self-display, positive values, seek challenges, and solve problems in their communities. From building robots, rock climbing at camp, running a cookie business, we know about that, to service projects at local food banks and animal shelters, the adventures for a girl to explore her leadership potentials are endless. Again, 888-837-6410, November 14th, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And my friends in Rotary, I often ask them, were you ever involved with Scouts? And I'm amazed by how many of the guys were in Boy Scouts and how many of our ladies were in Girl Scouts. So I think we just kind of keep paying it forward in the service organizations, so that's great. Okay, we have something called Adolescent Sensitivity Awareness. This will be the last time we'll be mentioning it because it's going to be held on Thursday, November 15th. It's a practice used to heighten communication and self-awareness. The presenter is Kimberly Earl. It's going to be held at the Salvation Army News Center at 83 South Main Street in Jamestown. It's brought to you at no cost by the CASIC. Pre-registration is required. The practice of sensitivity awareness instruction is a crucial part of communication and self-awareness with today's adolescents. School administrators have already witnessed the benefits of this practice through a hands-on after-school pilot program, which will be revealed in the training. The principles behind sensitivity awareness have proven to be a practical tool in helping students achieve greater success in communication, leading to greater success in academics and in life. Okay, and you can contact CASIC if you're interested in that. Okay, the Mayville Chautauqua Chamber Annual Awards Dinner is November 15th this week. Let's see here. Members are invited to attend its annual banquet and dinner meeting at the Webb's Captain's Table Thursday, November 15th. The evening will begin with a cash bar cocktail hour at 6:30 and continue with dinner at 7. The program includes election of officers, presentation of the Community Service and Business Improvement Awards. Dinner is $32, and you may RSVP the chamber at 753-3113. As I recall, the studio and Reed Power and Chuck Kelsey got that award a number of years ago. So it's a great organization, and they're having their annual dinner and awards. Moving right along, slide 16, holiday auction. This is for the Ripley Library, and it's sponsored by the Ripley Friends of the Library, a separate organization that supports the library. It's going to be held a week from today at Noble Winery. I'll be there. It's going to have a silent auction. It starts at 2 p.m. There's a lot of baskets and all kinds of cool things that you can do little silent bids on. And then there's a live auction at 4 p.m. Entrance fee is $5, but the $5 goes to your purchase. So if you buy something for $10 in the auction, you already got $5 in. Great idea. They're going to have toys, art, decorative things, baked goods, kitchen items, antiques, gift certificates, overflowing baskets of goodies, door prizes, and mystery boxes, holiday decorations, of course. So November 17th, Noble Winery, 2 it finishes probably about 6 o'clock. Okay, let's go to Westfield. Citrus Sale, Westfield Memorial Hospital Auxiliary. They're having their 2018 Citrus Sale, and this fruit is number 1 from Brijoda's Wholesale in Jamestown, New York. Okay, there's a whole list of different pricing, but you can get, for instance, a small box for $16, medium box for $28, half a case for $28, with all kinds of different combinations of grapefruit, oranges, and clementines, and all that good stuff. They want you to get your orders in by this week. You can give your check to any auxiliary member. Let's see what we got here. You can go to Peaceful Designs at 11 Main Street in Westfield for your to order some. A Grape Discovery Center over in Westfield as well. You also can send your payments to Gene McCausland at 42 Beckman. I think it's Beckman. I don't write these things, I just read them, in Westfield. And then there'll be a pickup of the products on December 8th and 9th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Grape Discovery Center. Woo! Let's keep going in Westfield. Christmas in the Village. They have an outstanding holiday weekend, and look at all that stuff that's going on. I can't read it all, but I do want to encourage you to at least highlight some of the things. All right, Friday, November 16th, which is coming up. It's next weekend already. Holy mackerel. At 9 a.m. in the morning, Dickens Carolers in a Christmas Carol skit at the Westfield School. Then they're going to have Santa Comes to Town at 6:15. There's going to be an armistice project at the library. A live performance of the Christmas Carol by Kin Tenriero. I can't say that name. Tickets are $10. And then Saturday, the 17th, they're going to have, I'm not sure what this is, but it sounds kind of cool, a hot toddy crawl. I'm not sure if you just kind of go from one place to another or what the deal is. There's going to be a Victorian holiday tea at the McClure Mansion, breakfast with Santa at the church. Then they're going to have things at the Holiday Fest at the library at 2 o'clock. Parade of Lights in the evening starting at 5. Then Sunday they got the Hall of Christmas at YWCA and Dickens Carolers and a Christmas skit again. And they're going to have horse-drawn carriage rides and Hall of Trees at Patterson Library. And then Brenda Eno Art Gallery at the Lakeshore Center for Arts is going to have something going on. And then finally Sunday, the Victorian Christmas service at the church, at Episcopal Church, and a Christmas show at Center Stage Dance Studio. Whew. Give my friend Marilyn Hemmer a call at 753-6043 if you want to know more information. A lot going on, gosh. All right, let's see what else we got going on here. The whole Chautauqua Chamber of Commerce is going to have their annual meeting, on December 7th, and the guest speaker is going to be David Hart, who's the president and CEO of Hart Hotels, a privately owned company based in Buffalo. Hart Hotels has more than 30 years of experience developing, operating, and managing hotels and restaurants. Its Harbor Hotel collection features a portfolio of award-winning hotels in Portland, Maine, and so on, all over the place. And that's going to be held December 7th. And if you're interested, give them a call at 366-6200. Okay, they said I skipped a page. What page did I skip? I'll have to get, oh, there it is. Oh my gosh, my friends are going to be mad at me. Rolling Hills Radio, November 19th at Shawbucks. Ken Harley and Company is going to have Jill Jack and Martin Swinger. Jill Jack began her professional career singing backup with a well-known Detroit country and rock, a variety of Detroit country and rock bands. Jack has 12 award-winning CDs to her name. It's kind of funny having a last name Jack. It sounds like I'm talking about a guy, but it's Jill Jack. Martin Swinger is a multi-award-winning performer, songwriter, and seasoned arts educator, sharing songwriting skills with kindergarten through adult learners, leading improvisational, singing workshops, vocal coaching, and mentoring other artists. He is currently recording his 6th CD of original songs. That's awesome. This is going to be held on November 19th at Shawbucks. As always, the doors open at 5:30. Tickets are $15 a piece. A great evening of entertainment. It's well worth it. It's a great venue. I've been there, and the nice thing is afterwards they have a meet and greet, so you can actually meet the singers and artists. Okay, let's move on to Home for the Holidays Palette Painting with Renee. Okay, this is going to be held December 1 from 2 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. at the Grape Discovery Center, $25. Renee will paint Home for the Holidays on a 14 by 16 wood palette. Wine and snacks available for purchase during the event. And I believe this is where y'all go there and paint a picture as well, and then you take it home, and it's a good time, and have a little wine, and bring your friends, and everybody who's gone to them really enjoys them. 326-2003 if you're interested at the Grape Discovery Center. All right, now I'm back on track, and last announcement, I gotta say this carefully, Chautauqua gift cards make great gifts. As the holiday season approaches and you begin to consider gifts or bonuses for your employees or co-workers, we strongly, this is from the Chamber now, they strongly encourage you to consider buying Chautauqua Chautauqua gift cards. One of the key points in their 5-point focus is to help their members to increase sales. According to them, they say, we do this in many ways through marketing and advertising opportunities, fostering business-to-business connections, and through the gift check program, which has resulted in a $3 million economic impact on the county. If you're interested in buying some of these gift cards, you can give them a call, 366-6200 or 484-1101. And these gift cards can be found at 125 local merchants, restaurants, and businesses right here in our home, Chautauqua County. That's it. I've run out of announcements. We're going to take a breather, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Why is my son having trouble in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with my son over his homework.
Home, walk, restaurant. Need a review?
No. He's smart, but his mind wanders.
7 wonders of the world.
Why don't you understand me?
I do. I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Learning as a child to drive. Oh boy. I am glad my kids are all grown up. I have a granddaughter. She's a couple of years away yet, but we always wonder how we all manage, huh? Well, anyways, I want to welcome back to the show Steve Waterson from TRC, the Resource Center, and you braved the elements, Steve. You're all right.
You know why we talked this morning. When I left Jamestown, the sun was shining. We had maybe an inch overnight, but once I got to the other side of the bridge by Stowe, it took a turn for the worse. So it's a little hairy getting up here, but glad to be on here. Thanks so much for having me on.
Absolutely. And you know, I really just love having you guys on because, as you know, I was a special education teacher for 15 years, and that my heart is just in with kids with disabilities and adults as they transition through. I thought we'd take a little time today and talk a little bit about what is TRC, what is its roots here in Chautauqua County, and a little bit of the history, if you can paint as much as you know of it, and I got a couple of things I want to add to it. So
absolutely, yeah. Well, you've got some history. I've been there for about 26 years, so
okay,
you've got more delving back. But it's great that we're on and talking about this because we just observed in September our 60th anniversary of when the Resource Center was formed.
60 years, oh my gosh.
A group of parents of children with intellectual and developmental disabilities who wanted a better life for their children. Back then, public schools didn't have to educate kids with severe disabilities, and there weren't a lot of opportunities for folks to be able to go to school, work in the community. We had one parent, Frida Eddy. Did you ever know Frida?
I know the name. Yes, I think so.
Frida was involved early on, and Frida said, back then our kids just stayed home and watched television. There really wasn't much for them to do. So the families got together with the Chautauqua County Medical Society Auxiliary and got the Resource Center started. And we started off, I think, educating 9 children. And today we serve more than 1,000 people with all sorts of disabilities throughout Chautauqua County. So
okay, well we'll go back to that in a little bit. So let's go back into the 50s a little bit. So 58 or 59 is the anniversary year.
58 was when we started.
Okay, so it's 6 years this year.
And then in January 59 was when we actually started providing services.
Okay, so I'm thinking back what it was like back then, and I'm thinking about when I was in school. We saw no children with any type of disability that I can be aware of, And if we saw somebody in a wheelchair, it was sort of foreign to us. I mean, it's not like we were scared, it was just foreign. Right. And the piece that a lot of people forget, that back in the 50s, 60s, and right up until when I was teaching, into about 75 when they changed the laws around, a child would come into this world, the child would have not even a serious disability, but the doctor would say, well, I'm sorry, but your child has a disability and you probably have 2 options. 1, keep the child home, or 2, you might want to look into some type of day treatment or institution. And I did my practice teaching and a lot of volunteer work at the West Seneca State Developmental Center. And many of the children from the 40s and 50s, 60s were housed there. And those children would not be there today. They are in school, they're in programs, they're living on their own in some cases, and it's just hard to believe how we were looking at children back then and adults, and today how far we've come. And the Resource Center, the ARC, at that time, really turned it all around. It's just amazing.
Absolutely. I think the big thing was, remember the Geraldo Rivera expose? He took a camera and snuck into the Willowbrook State School.
Well, that was exactly the one I was thinking of.
Yep. And showed the really horrific conditions that people with disabilities were living with there. And New York State took a while, but made a move to start shutting down the institutions and moving people with disabilities back into their home communities. And that's really when the Resource Center started to thrive in the 70s and 80s. We started building some homes and taking in some people not only from Chautauqua County, but some folks from downstate who did not have anywhere else to go.
Well, and we had some really strong leadership in government with the Kennedy family.
Yep.
And they were really promoting things like Special Olympics and better conditions and things of this nature. So it's been quite an evolution. And I was just thinking back, well, where were these folks before there were institutions? They were the ones that were locked up in the attic or in the basement or whatever. People were embarrassed. There is no embarrassment having a disability whatsoever. And there's so many good services that we're going to get to a little bit here that your organization provides. Now, I knew the first director of the Resource Center. It was called the Association for Retarded Children at the time,
Yep.
right? And and nobody really flinched at that. But nowadays, when you say that, it's like, ooh, that you just don't say those things anymore, because we don't say retarded children. We say children with retardation or with developmental delays or something. We don't call the child by the disability. We call a child that has a disability.
Right. Yeah. That word retarded or any variation of it has really got a stigma to it now.
Right.
So the word retardation is completely out, and the intellectual disability, cognitive disability are the phrases that have been
Emotional
replaced.
things of these nations. Yeah, right.
Yep.
Because I wear glasses and people don't say, "Oh, there's that bespeckled Hamels guy." I mean, I'm Doc with glasses.
Yep.
So it's the same difference. Okay, well, Jim DePonso was the first director, as I recall, and my history with all that is, Jim took a sabbatical from BOCES, and I was his long-term sub.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the crazy history I have with it. So when Jim went off to continue to develop the workshop down in Jamestown, which is, it's on that little triangle there. Is it 3rd and 2nd? What was that?
Yeah, I think it's across from where the high school
Exactly.
is.
So he put a lot of toil and work into that to develop that, and so he was really one of the early movers and shakers. And I finally remember Jim being quite a character. He lived just down the road from here, and he had the D's gas station. And he was an aluminum craftsman and things like that. But he really pushed that whole concept. And so in my small way, I was just part of it. And then of course, Grace Kent was one of the preschool teachers, because children didn't go to BOCES that were preschool. We didn't have those programs yet. Grace Kent had them at the Resource Center.
Okay.
And then they would come to me, because I had like the young kids. So we had all these great connections with all these children and these programs and families. And I'm still friends with a lot of these people over the years. So good history here in Chautauqua County, doing it right. All right, so Steve, let's move the timeline here a little bit. So over time, Jim gave up the directorship because he had to go back teaching, and I hired Mike Raymond, who really just exploded the whole TRC program and project and put it really on the map.
He did, yeah. I didn't know Mike Raymond, but he had a gift for getting money from New York State government for programs and
it was
homes that
unbelievable.
we opened, yes.
Like I said, I saw both of the programs when they were in the early stages, and then when it went to down there on Jones and Gifford, it was like, woo, where did this come from? But it was unbelievable. And as a teacher, we'll talk a little about that in here in a second. I'm gonna put that down, transition. When I was a teacher, I was like, the parents would say, well, where's my child going to go? And I said, well, they have a workshop, but now it's a whole lot more than that. But, I wrote down the word transitional services. We have children in school today, and parents or family members are watching. We used to talk about planning when the kid was all 12, 13, 14 years old. Are they still doing those sort of things? Can you talk a little bit about that for us?
A little bit. I mean, that's something that we do work with the schools on, is starting to prepare those children who have a disability for life after they graduate. It used to be that they could come to a day program like the Resource Center has at the building on Jones and Gifford Avenue in Jamestown or Lakeshore Drive in Dunkirk, or go to the Work Center. Funding for those programs has started to be restricted by the state and federal governments who want people to be out in the community and getting jobs out in the community with private employers. So that's a new focus for us, but we're certainly there working with the families and the teachers in the schools to help with the planning for their children for their later life.
The reason why I bring this up, because we just had a discussion at home that we were talking about some individuals, and nobody in particular that anybody would know what I'm talking right now, because this is everywhere in the United States, everywhere in the world. But the old thinking was, my child has a disability, and the child will stay with me after school, and they will live with me, which is fine. Till you get to your 70s and 80s, and that child is no longer a child. That child is a full-grown adult, big person, and maybe they still have some issues. You're in your, golden years. You're not strong anymore. How do you handle certain circumstances? And all of a sudden now, maybe you're hospitalized, or you have to go to a nursing home or something. What becomes of the adult with a disability? And now all of a sudden they want to do something, and it's not that quick. It's not that fast. Can you speak to that at all?
Oh, sure. You will. And I think back years ago, people with disabilities, their parents, probably would outlive the child, so it was okay to keep them at home. Medical advances, people are living longer, and if you think about it, if you've somebody who has a intellectual disability, you've lived at home all your life till you get into your 60s, 70s, and then your parents die, and then you've got to move into a group home, someplace you've never been before. Very traumatic, difficult time to adjust. But you're right. We New York State cut back on its funding for new group homes probably 15 years ago. I don't think we've opened up a new home in about 13 years. Okay. So there's a waiting list to be able to get.
That's my point. There's a waiting list.
Those services. And things are starting to get better. We've got plans to open up a home in the Silver Creek area, hopefully in the next year or so. So things are getting better. But there is a waiting list for not only residential placement, but some other services. And it's really up to the families. They've got to get out there and make some noise with our elected officials so that they're aware of it.
But you said the key word is waiting list, because if folks get on these waiting lists in, let's say, in the young person is in their late teens or early 20s, and everything's still going good, get them on the list now, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Get them into the system. Get them in so that there's a name and recognition. There's a file created, so then when the time comes, you can say, okay, we're ready to take a look-see.
Absolutely. We've got a woman who had lived with her parents. The parents died. She went and lived with her brother. Brother died suddenly. There hadn't been any planning made. Now, she had been getting some day services for her, so we were able to get a placement for her and get her into one of our homes pretty quickly. But still, you don't want to have to be in that situation where an emergency pops up and you've got to do something on the fly without any preparations being made. So the earlier you start doing the planning, the better. And every family that has somebody, a family member with a disability, has a service coordinator or a care coordinator, so they can certainly be working with that person to start.
Somebody kind of looking out for them then.
Looking out for them and making sure that they get hooked up with the right services that they want, trying to plan for what that person wants to do with their life. Do they want to work? Do they want to volunteer? If you want to work, what do you like to do? Trying to help people get that life that they want to live.
And there's something for everybody. I mean, it doesn't have to be complicated work. It could be just something that's meaningful.
Absolutely.
And you get a paycheck for it. We'll get into a little bit, or a stipend of some sort. But I think there's a stigma still for some families that they feel that they have to protect their child, and if they don't protect their child as they grow up, that the stigma is that you're a bad parent or not caring, and you're going to send them to a group home. But that's just not normal anymore. It's not necessary anymore. When our young adults go to these group homes, they have a great time. They have a great life. Can you speak to that much?
Absolutely. The Resource Center operates about 30 homes throughout Chautauqua County.
30 homes?
Most are in the Jamestown area, a few in Dunkirk, Fredonia. We have one in Westfield.
So how many adults are there?
Over 200.
200 adults in 30 homes. Wow.
And then we provide supports also. Not everybody wants to live in a congregate setting like that. They want to live independently, so we also provide support so that people can live independently in the community. Maybe they need some assistance at nighttime or need some help with budgeting or taking medications or getting dressed, but for all intents and purposes, they're able to live on their own in the community, and I think that's what most people want to be able to do.
Right, and now let's roll back the tape from when we started our conversation, where automatically somebody with some type of disability was not counted as somebody that's going to be productive, housed somewhere, and now the push is not even to have them in, like you said, necessarily in a centered workplace, but in work settings that are real life settings. I mean, we've really pushed them into our everyday lives.
Absolutely. The Resource Center supports over 200 people in the community to work out in our local businesses. I think at last count we have relationships with 146 employers who have hired, who have people with disabilities from the Resource Center working there. We've got a supported employment program that works to identify, talk to the individual and find out what kind of work do you want to do, what are your strengths, and then go out and find employers who are looking to hire somebody and try to match those two, get the person on board in the job, and then we have a job coach that stays with the person for the first few weeks of employment, kind of an insurance policy to the employer that the job's going to get done, and then that job coach slowly backs away as the new worker gets
like a
more
mentor
comfortable.
type of
right.
thing, yeah.
Gets
That's
more
great.
comfortable with the job, and then we're there, in case any situations pop up, tardiness or the employee needs some sort of an accommodation to be able to do his or her job. We're there to work with the employer to make sure that that employment match is going to be successful.
146 different employers. That is outstanding. I mean, that number has really grown over the years. So, can you just pick maybe a couple of scenarios of some folks that are working that comes to mind that you could share what they're doing and where they're at? I mean, I don't know, no names, but maybe some situations that you can describe in general or specifically. It's up to you.
Oh, sure. There's a gentleman named Bob who I haven't been up to Fredonia State in a while, but he is had been working as a cashier at the college in one of the cafeterias. Very well known on campus. The students,
Everybody knows Bob.
At least 1 year, the students organized a dance-a-thon to raise money to do some research into the condition that Bob has. So, somebody who is very well integrated into the larger student faculty life of Fredonia. We've got folks that work at places like Wegmans. We were just talking about the new Chautauqua Harbor Hotel. They've hired, I think, 6 people from the Resource Center.
What kind of positions would they have?
Cleaning, kitchen.
Okay.
Those are the ones that pop into my mind immediately. But there's folks that are, everybody has different jobs and different interests. We have the Resource Center is responsible for maintaining the rest area on I-86 in Bemis Point. So we've got folks that are cleaning the inside of the building, and then they also get to take care of the outside of the building, which on a day like today is going to be a bit of a challenge,
But it's meaningful, it's important work. It's not just, counting items and put them into a cup or something. It's real work.
It's real work, and even also we've got manufacturing facilities in Jamestown and Dunkirk, where we perform work for the federal government. We've been doing that for about 40 years,
right?
And then also local industry. And when you meet somebody new, one of the first questions out of your mouth is, what do you do for a living? People with disabilities are no different. They want to have a job. They're proud to have a job, and that paycheck means a lot, as it means to anybody.
Sure.
So. Folks, everybody wants to have a job, and we do what we can to support people with disabilities into getting a job.
Now, it's been a while, but one of the times when I visited TRC, they were making tent pegs, and they were doing, I want to say, pouches or something for the military. Are they still doing things like that?
Absolutely, that's the big thing. We do a lot of industrial sewing for the military for pouches. It's called a MOLLE system, and it's basically a vest, and then you can affix different pouches depending on what you're going to be going out in the field, what the soldier is going to be going out in the field doing. So
I will bet my son when he was in Afghanistan or Iraq, probably was wearing one of those.
Absolutely. When the Gulf War, second Gulf War started,
he was there.
When the Marines went in from Kuwait into Iraq, every one of them carried with them a first aid kit that was assembled at the Resource Center.
Wow. Here in Jamestown.
In
Chautauqua County, all over.
And a few months later, the Marines came in and kind of talked to the workers and told them that those first aid kits did save the lives of some of the servicemen and women. So that's a great feeling for everybody.
Okay, let's catch our breath for a second. Folks, you're watching Chautauqua Sunrise, and I was remiss to say, if you want to call in and talk to Steve or have an announcement, give us a call at 753-5225, and you can do follow-up with a Twitter, email to the station here, or always go to Facebook. And if you want to watch the show again, we're going to be on Facebook as long as not Facebook, but YouTube. Well, Facebook too. But YouTube forever and ever, as long as YouTube is still around. And who knows what 10 years will be, but the show will be there. So, Steve, you mentioned Work Center. Is that something new?
No, it's what used to be called a workshop.
Okay,
sheltered workshop.
Different term now. I want to
Yep.
clarify that. That was new to me.
Yep. So we've been operating those work centers. The Jamestown one's been operating for 40 plus years.
Right.
The one in Dunkirk as well. It's been around for decades. And the one in Dunkirk's on East Chestnut Street. It's by the Purina plant, for those who aren't familiar with that area. But we do a lot of work, as I said, for the federal government, and then also for local manufacturers, do a lot of subcontracting work with us. The big one's Southern Tier Brewery. We've been working with
really?
Southern Tier Brewery for
awesome.
a couple of years.
Company, all those guys?
Yes, and we package their multi-packs of, when you've got 3 or 4 different varieties in a 12-pack or a 15-pack. And I would say we pack hundreds of cases of beer for them every day because they're a huge operation. So.
Excellent.
So buy Southern Tier beer and support the Resource Center and people with disabilities.
Okay, we have a call already. So I hear dogs barking in the background. I think I know who it is. It's Linda Spalding. Good morning, Linda.
Good morning, Jack, and good morning, Steve.
Hi, Linda.
I'm surprised anybody made it in this morning.
Hey. This is what we do here.
I couldn't believe my eyes when I looked out the window this morning.
All right, I'm gonna tell you an honest story. Chris and I were on phone, and I was saying, if Steve calls in and can't make it, I'm turning around and just do a rerun. Because it's that bad out there. But once you got closer, it wasn't all that bad. It was some rough patches.
It's really very pretty out there. It's kind of nice to see the leaves with the snow. It reminds me so much of late autumn and Thanksgiving.
That's positive.
You always like to put a positive spin on it. I have to bring you home and have you talk to my wife because she did not feel that way this morning.
I haven't shoveled the snow yet. I don't know if I should wait for it to melt or just.
That's the thing we didn't mention. That snow is pretty heavy, so
it is heavy.
Take your time pushing that stuff around. So what's up?
Well, it's good to see Steve. Steve on the show. Steve, I do work with the Resource Center. I get referrals from your center. Very good people. I want to add you've got a great team of job developers.
Yes.
And referring counselors. And for years, the Resource Center has done a really terrific job.
I think I'm going to leave now and let the two of you finish the show.
And, studies show that people that are disabled actually produce superior work.
Oh, without question. Without question.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
We hear a lot from employers that people with disabilities, absenteeism is lower. People calling in sick on a day when they're maybe not sick, and they take a lot of pride in their work. They're grateful to have a job.
Yeah, they are a terrific crew. So, and I hope to be able to continue with the Resource Center because it's a great organization.
So, Linda, you said you get referrals. So, do you have placements that you've been working on lately?
I've had people from the Resource Center, yes, and I send people to the Resource Center too.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Going the other way. All right.
Yeah, both ways. We do things in a reciprocal manner with any of the agencies. And, they send people to me. I send people to them with the agencies and with businesses.
And that's to me, it's a beautiful thing here in Chautauqua County. I don't know how many times Linda's been on with me, and she knows like 75% of my guests, and they all work together. And And yet, and when I go out in the communities and I talk to agencies, they all seem to interface, and that's really where it's at here in the county. You go to other places, and they're like in their own little silo, their own little world. So that's great.
Other places are not like that at all. Yeah. In fact, I just went to a conference that was sponsored by our funding source, Senior Service America Incorporated, and you would be surprised the different projects that are not doing this, and are planning to attempt it. And Chautauqua County has been this way for as long as I know, since I've been working here.
Terrific. Awesome. It's a good feel. Okay, so you got any openings or positions that you want to talk about today?
Well, it's a good time to be looking for jobs. I just did fill a position with Jamestown Meals on Wheels in our funded position for a driver delivery person. I'm still looking for a transport aide with carts, and there are other jobs. This is a very good time to be out looking for work.
All right, let me help you here now. All right, so you need a transport aide. What are the hours?
Well, they have to be there around 6.
Where do they report to?
Well, on Hopkins at carts.
Okay, and that's in Jamestown?
Yes.
Okay, so it doesn't matter where you live, right? As long as you can get there?
Well, what I do is I place people according to their location of their home and the position. So it would be somebody that lived in the area. It wouldn't be anybody from Dunkirk.
Okay,
because these are part-time positions.
Well, how many hours? How many hours a week?
20 hours a week.
20 hours, and what's it pay?
Minimum wage, which is $10.40.
$10.40 is now minimum wage? You're kidding? Did you know that? That's great.
Yes.
That's not bad. Okay, so if they want to apply, what's the phone number? I'm pointing it while you talk.
The number at the Chautauqua County Office for the Aging is 753-4471.
Okay.
It's right on the screen now. We also have a Facebook page. Also, there are other services with the Chautauqua County Office for the Aging. They are doing a lot of health insurance counseling.
Oh, yes.
And it's free. That's what people should know. It is free. No charge for it.
Okay, and so we're going to let you go because we got more to talk about here. But Lynn, as always, thanks for calling, and hopefully you'll get that bus attendant there.
I hope so, yes.
All right.
And it's great to see your show. Be careful driving today.
You too.
Thank you.
All right, you take care.
You too. And Veterans Day is coming up, too.
Oh, that's right.
Thank you to all the veterans.
Absolutely. Thanks for reminding me of that. I should have said that, too. Okay, what was I going to say on that? This is the open window right now if anybody wants to change their insurance. It's on Medicare. And, of course, once you're over a certain age, you seem to get all these things in the mail. I get every day at least 3 of them, which always end up in the Dipsy dumpster. But anyways, the Office for the Aging are awesome about that. Okay, back to you, Steve. You got some pictures. Let's look at some pictures.
Okay.
What do you say? Okay, Jeff, let's bring those up and see what we got. And we'll describe them for our listeners on WRFA as we go along.
Okay, so we were talking about our 60th anniversary. This is a shot from one of our early classrooms. So this is probably circa 1960.
I was going to say I probably knew some of those kiddos.
Possibly
so
did.
We got some old desks in our classroom. I don't know who that teacher is, but
our first teacher was Mrs. Cornelius Fisher, who was a retired teacher from Mayville, I think. Did you know her?
I'm going to change that. It wasn't the first name, unless she changed.
That was her husband. Oh, that wasn't her husband?
No, maybe that was her real name, but she went by Celia.
Oh, thank you. Was her husband Cornelius?
Could be. He was a potato farmer.
Right.
But I worked with her for my first year.
Was that her?
Could be.
Okay.
Could be, because she and I worked at the Lakewood Methodist Church for a year together.
Great.
And I was the young upstart, and she was the very veteran teacher. And, well, we had differences of style. And she was, but she was a good-hearted person. All right, what do we got here?
This is a shot from Camp Anyasa. We do an annual camp week every year that we have about 70 people with intellectual and developmental disabilities who go up to Anyasa.
I did not know that.
And just have a great time. This is opening night where all the cabins come together. They drew a picture and then they come out and kind of explain what their picture's about.
Well, what kind of things do they do there?
Oh, anything that you would do at camp. You know, they go sailing, they go out on a pontoon boat, they go fishing, archery.
Outdoor stuff. And they have a great time. That woman in front there gesturing with the hands, that's Jen Yost. She's been with us forever. She's on our board of directors. So. Oh, wow. Wonderful, wonderful. So, and Is that provided? Is it free, or do they have to pay to go, or how's that work?
The Resource Center picks up the cost for them to go. There's some grant money that also comes in from the Jamestown Rotary Club.
And I know Jennifer when she was just a little redhead. I mean, she's still a redhead, but I know Jennifer.
That's great.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so this is a shot from the Chautauqua County Humane Society. Folks with the Resource Center enjoy giving back to the community and volunteering at dozens and dozens of places throughout Chautauqua County. So this is some folks caring for the cats at the Humane Society.
That is a big cat. I thought it was a dog at first. Look at the size of that cat. Look at the smiles on their faces. Everybody is enjoying the pets. You know, there's something about an animal, a dog, a cat, whatever, that just, I don't know, it just helps situations out. People feel good about that.
Amen. Yeah, but we help out Meals on Wheels, the Autobahn, you know, literally dozens of places in the community.
Well, that's true. What else we got? What is this?
This is some folks from our home on Water Street in Fredonia, and they did a fundraising initiative where they collected redeemable bottles and cans and collected over a couple $100, and they donated it to the Fredonia Fire Department.
Wait a minute. The folks from the TRC, they did a fundraiser for another organization?
Correct. We do that a lot.
Well, you know, it used to be the other way around.
And it still is.
Okay.
We get help from the
Back and
community,
forth.
but we like to give back as well. So the folks from the fire department came over with one of their engines, and we took some pictures. And
okay, so we're looking at a bunch of firemen in their
gear.
fire gear there, and then some of the residents there. Well, it looks like a good time.
Absolutely.
All right, let's keep it going here. Whoa, look at that.
Okay, this is a shot from last year's Jamestown Holiday Parade, which I think this will be the 14th year in a row that the Resource Center has sponsored the parade. And you see the Toys for Tots banner on there. This, I think, is the 18th year that we have coordinated the U.S. Marine Corps Reserve's Toys for Tots drive in Chautauqua County. And each year that benefits about 2,400 children, underprivileged children throughout the county who have a merrier holiday because of the toys that we're able to get.
Okay, now I'm looking at this float right now, and there's a Christmas tree, and there's lights, and all. Who works on this? Everybody?
Staff at the Resource Center volunteers to do it, and they for this particular one, we also got some the people who we support to work on it as well. And this year's theme for the parade is Candyland, so I know they're working on a float. I don't know what the float looks like yet, but the parade is Friday, November 30th.
Oh, boy.
So come out and join it.
What a great time that is. You know, over the years, I've announced your different events and fundraisers. You have a summer one, don't you? I think there's a summer.
Yeah, we do a...
I'm sitting here, and I think it's like July, and I'm talking about Toys for Tots, and I go, wow.
We do a Christmas in July craft bazaar, absolutely.
Yeah.
Then we've got another one coming up on December 8th at our main facility in Celeron.
Okay, so do we have any more?
Okay, there's Brian Dickinson working on one of our military jobs. Looks like he's cutting some straps at our work center in Jamestown.
He's getting an I love you sign?
Yes.
Okay, and it appears that everything is sort of, I used to call it jigged, so that you just set things up and then you can assemble it. So it looks like they have some adaptive equipment in there, maybe?
Yep, and for a lot of the projects too, we have, we'll put a process board up so that people can kind of see the flow of it, and it kind of makes it easier for everybody.
Right, kind of a hands-on, and you can kind of process it. Well, he's got his headset on. He looks like he's grooving on his tunes, and a happy guy there.
Yes.
Well, now, we talked about taking home a paycheck. Is this minimum wage, or is it a stipend? How does that work?
Some are minimum wage. Some people make more than minimum wage.
Oh, so, just depends on the job.
Yes.
Okay. And are we out of pictures? Or we have? Oh, there's another one. Oh, what's going on here?
Okay, so one of the things we've been trying to do, in addition to helping people find jobs in the community, we try to help them find jobs at the Resource Center when possible. So the woman on the right, her name is Nancy Barr, and the woman in purple. And Nancy lives in one of our homes.
I know Nancy from when she was
there
younger.
You go.
I remember her.
And she's been with us for decades. And a couple of years ago, we got Nancy involved in our hiring process. So when people come in to interview for a job, Nancy sits in with it's a staff member on her right, and they're both asking questions. And the thought behind that was, we're hiring direct support workers who are going to be providing direct hands-on services to people with disabilities. why not have them meet and be interviewed by the folks who they're going to be supporting.
I remember she had a gift of talk.
She does
I remember
indeed.
that as a young student at BOCES, because we worked with all these kids. Oh, this is so fascinating for me to see all these kiddos that grew up into adults. Oh, there's a big picture of a lot of people there.
This was just from last week. This was our 30th annual Disability Awareness Award celebration, which took place at the Clarion up in Dunkirk. And every year we do this to recognize people with disabilities who've made significant achievements in their own personal lives, and then also folks and businesses from the community who help support folks with disabilities.
All right, so we have, for those that are listening, a group shot of about 20-some people, and there's 6 people sitting in chairs. Are they the awardees?
Everybody there is an awardee.
Oh,
so
whether they're employer or one of the
right,
workers.
there's a big group from UPMC Chautauqua because their phlebotomy team was recognized for, they come out, the blood drawers,
Okay.
drawers, if that's
Yeah.
you know, folks who live in our homes have to have their blood tested, and it's kind of a process to have them get up early in the morning and take them down to the hospital. So the kind folks at UPMC come to the homes early in the morning before dawn and draw the blood so that the folks don't have to go down to the facility. They take it down, the lab team runs it, billing department makes sure that all the coding is correct, because you know that can be a problem sometimes. So we wanted to recognize that the folks at UPMC Chautauqua for what
Okay,
they
last
do.
picture.
There we go, the hoteling family. Wayne's been on this show before.
Yeah.
He and his wife Elaine started an event called Laurel Run. That's their daughter Laurel, who had Down syndrome. And that event takes place every year in July. It'll be our 23rd annual next year. Laurel, we're right about the 1-year anniversary of when Laurel passed away at the age of 54, I believe. So, and Wayne was supposed to be here today, but I think the weather got the best of him.
Steve, if you're watching, thanks for, we'll catch you another time.
Absolutely.
All right, or Wayne, did I say Steve? Wayne.
You did.
Steve.
Yes.
We've got like a couple minutes left here. How about talking about other services that are available, whether just available at the Resource Center?
Sure. We provide some health-related services that they were started for folks with disabilities, but they're open to anybody in the community.
Like what?
So primary care, dental, occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy, podiatry, and mental health counseling. And those services are open to anybody. My primary care doctor is one of the doctors at the Resource Center. Our 2 doctors, Dr. Creamy, I think has been with us for 16 years. Dr. Munir, our medical director, has been there for 10. So they're physicians who have a lot of experience at the Resource Center. We've got dental offices on 2nd Street in Jamestown and Lakeshore Drive in Dunkirk with all new, they've recently been renovated, so all new equipment. We've got a lift for people, so basically a lot for folks with disabilities who are in wheelchairs. It's easier to get them from their chair into the seat to have the work performed. Physical therapy is at our building on Jones and Gifford Avenue, and also on Lakeshore Drive. And we had somebody who had been down in Pittsburgh for PT and said, you know, I could have gotten the same level of service up here that I got down in Pittsburgh. So.
Do you guys have like a one phone number that will get you everything, like a one-stop shop? What is that?
Call 483-2344. That's our main number.
483-2344?
Yep, they dial there, and whatever issue they have or question they have, the receptionist will direct their call to the person that can best answer that.
All right. Steve Waterson, you've been my guest this morning, and this has been a lot of fun for me going back in time and talking about the Resource Center and just Chautauqua County in general. We're down to about a half a minute. So I'm going to let you finish up, and anything you want to share with the folks.
Always looking for support. The Resource Center is a membership organization. Membership dues are $10 annually, and for that you get a discount card that gets you discounts at about 24 local businesses. And you go to our website, which is resourcecenter.org, to find out some information about that. We've got something coming up for in connection with the Toys for Tots on Friday, December 7th. We're going to be doing a teddy bear toss at the Jamestown Rebels hockey game. Okay. This is the 3rd annual. I saw this on YouTube somewhere out in the Midwest and said, let's try to do this here. And between the first and second intermission, first and second periods, people can toss teddy bears down on the ice, and we'll collect those, and they'll be donated to Toys for Tots.
Cool. We're out of time. 483-2344, the Resource Center, for all kinds of services and questions, and please don't be shy. All right, I'm Doc Hamels. We made it through the snow. We made it through another show and all kinds of announcements. We'll see you again next week right here on Access Chautauqua. I'm Doc Hamels signing off. Be careful, drive safe, and thanks, Steve, for joining me as always.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend, everybody.